Hi everyone, let's start today's call. The first agenda item is to see if anyone have any questions or comments and updates for the tickets from the current sprint. Vijay, do you have anything? I saw you put a comment on yours. I just wonder if you have anything we need to clarify.
And actually I was able to add the columns and able to change the data structure, but proceeding further on that, I wanted to check the flow. Like once I submit a form, I should see it in the queue, and if there is any error, it's in the error queue. So I need to make changes in those two pages as well, right? That page should have patient UUID. Am I right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, actually, that's one thing which I'm trying to understand the flow. I just had a chat with Shweta also. I have a little bit of clarity on that.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll sync up with Shweta for any queries.
Okay, thanks. So, hey, welcome back, Shweta. Do you want to share the updates for your ticket? I think it's like 270.
Yeah, Ada, for that, I've actually already submitted the pull request. And I think today Win merged the code as well.
Yes.
So with the changes, I think we should be able to test on 270.
Yeah, I think one thing that I observed from the pre-testing for 270 is the taking a little bit time to load the summary page, and then we think it's because of the image file, the complex ops, that it takes a lot of much more time to load them. So maybe like for future enhancement, just like FYI, that we might not this ticket, maybe another ticket is to remove the strip out the ops, the complex ops part, so that it can load faster. So that is something that maybe like in future, but not for this version, for this ticket. Yeah, just want FYI.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks.
And for
go ahead.
The other thing I was working on is 307, which is the box, right? So because the refactoring that we did for 270, this ticket has to be done. So I mean, whatever testing you all have done, it would have not worked because the code is compatible with the changes that were made in 270, right?
That's right. Yeah.
So this would have worked with the previous version of code changes that were made for 270, but right now 270 is completely different.
Correct.
So 307 will be redone as well. Okay. I'm working on it. I have some questions for Win, but since he's not in the call, I'll email him.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I think because the strategy totally changed, and then it needs to be redo because of that. Yeah, I agree.
Completely different now. I mean, the whatever code was written for this and submitted will not make any sense now because it's completely different.
Yeah, I agree.
I have to redo this.
Thanks. So let's go to LAC 23, the costing form. I think this one we were waiting for, Derek has sent his apology, but he said Ruth is going to give his updates on his behalf. Ruth, can you share the update for us?
Okay, yeah. I've talked with Derek today, and Derek told me that about the list for the requirements for the LAC posting form, they are going to discuss with Raj today for countersigning on the list of requirements. So maybe after the call for LAC at 4:30, I'll be able to give a report from the call.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. And also for luck, maybe because we are updating on that, they are supposed to roll out the devices Huawei Y210 in the field, Cheplaske, where we did a training last month. So they are doing it probably this week. I'll be giving a report on that also.
Sure. Thanks.
Okay, thanks.
And then the next ones are on oncologies, 338 and then 341. And I know the specification has been finalized, and just waiting for the PI to review and sign off. Robai, can you give us an update on those two tickets?
We finalized making the final list with Kito, and he did an email. He forwarded the recommendation to Dr. Omenge, and we are still waiting for him to approve.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we will continue to put those tickets on hold until we got the official approval from the project PI.
Okay, that is fine.
I think those. Go ahead.
I'm saying unless if he approves, I'll follow up with Kipto, then I'll reply on the email.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
I think those are the tickets that need to be to have updates. The other one, I think, require the testing and things like that. And so those are the discussion for the current tickets from current springs. Is there anything anyone want to mention or discuss before we move to the next item? Okay. If it's a no, the next one is about getting ready for the release plan. So last Friday, called. That's when. So last Friday call we have we talk about the new mUzima Jira for checking the user testing and acceptance, and so we already create some accounts for a few of you, so that you can log in and help with that. So Roba, you emailed me that you haven't received the account, and I will look at it after the call. So how about Eric and Ruth? Are you guys okay with that? Did you guys receive the email?
Oh, we've also not received the email for resetting the password.
You also haven't received it, the password?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I'll look into it after the call, so that we can do the testing all over there. So what happened is that will create a bunch of tickets, standard tickets, with like specific test steps, and to against the first version, so that once you go through those steps and then the expected behavior, if it's yes, and then you can say that it's already passed, and then we can mark off that the testing tickets. And then from now on, and then when we like another version, we will test again the same tickets, but we have and include another version number for the execution, so that we can always like stick with the same set of testing requirement. So that would make our life easier after the first round for the next release testing. But for the current release testing, it will be a little bit more work because we need to create a lot of tickets for testing. So the plan is we hope that we identify any bug issues, or hopefully there's no bug, and then we can have the release by this weekend. Anyone have any comments or questions?
Or maybe, Edna, what you mean is from now on, if we have a new issue, we need to document on the new Jira.
No, no. So the new Jira has very specific test step. I will walk you guys through after you guys log in. Maybe we can go through doing tomorrow's CDSS call, so that it will be easier for everyone to see the demo.
Okay.
So what it is like it's either pass or fail. That's it. You would do exactly every single step. It's like pass or fail for each ticket.
Okay.
For example, it will say, "Oh, are you able to finish downloading the cohort? Are you able to test on downloading the cohort? Finish downloading the selected form template? Every single step it will be separate ticket." So that we can make sure that we don't forget like a certain step.
Okay.
So, Edda,
Hey, Lawrence.
hey, Edda, I just got back from leave. Maybe,
Welcome back.
yeah, maybe there were changes, but just to confirm,
Uh-huh.
there was a feature that was to be implemented that would help the programmers not to have previous problem regarding the APK. So I do not know if we have an issue, or rather if we have a new APK released, we have to go through and test all the previous tickets, like just to make sure there's nothing that was broken in the new APK, or that's been taken care of.
So for the Spring, different version of the Spring APK and things like that, we'll still stick with the same current workflow. But for this, the new testing workflow, this is like for the official release. So because for the official release, we need to make sure that we test every single step before we have the release. So it's a little bit, this is like addition testing thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So it doesn't change our current workflow for, let's say that we publish a new APK for testing or for pre-testing and things like that. It doesn't change that. The new testing method is only for the official release that we plan to put on Google Play.
Oh.
Thanks for asking. This is a good question for clarifying. Okay. So, Shrita, since Win is on, do you want to go back on the search box one that you might want to clarify with him? That one.
Yes, Sarah.
Go ahead.
So, for 307, we have a free text search box on the error data page as well as the queue data page, which allows us to search for data in the error queue as well as the error data and the queue data pages. So one thing I wanted to just understand is, when you took a look at the changes, even though this is again going back to the issue with the provider table being, I'm not sure why it's there because there is no provider object itself that I can use. So it's actually just a table that's there in the database, but I'm actually using the user table to get all of the information. So I was just wondering, like, I'm going to modify the Hibernate the criteria query, which will basically allow me to search on these new columns, which means that I'll have to do a join across the location table and the user table, and then do a search after I do the join. So I just wanted to just check with you.
I think using criteria object, you can do that. So you can add more restriction to the Hibernate query.
As to which class I'm going to change.
Give me a second. If you look at that example, the gap observation is doing restriction based on the person. So you create an alias. The alias is basically joining the table.
Right.
So the base class in this code is doing criteria on obs class, but we also have, in a way, join with person and then with concept object.
Yes. So, okay, let me just show you what I have done. So the location part for that, I mean, the changes are okay, it's working fine. So what is really now my problem is that for computer, right, we're using the system ID. So I'm not sure, like, should I join with the provider table or the user table? Because in the code in the web converter, we are actually, if you look at the code, we are actually doing something like get provider, which returns a user object, and from the user object we're getting the system ID.
I think we can use the user object.
I've done something like this. I actually gave it's just a temporary name. I called it table, and then table dot location, and location joins across. So table is just a temporary name I've given for the.
Okay.
And then this part is working, but I'm confused about provider, because even though it's actually provider information, it's actually, there's nothing in provider that we're using. It's more of the user we're using.
Yeah, I think because the restriction is based on the system ID, I think we can use the user table.
Okay, so I just add another criteria which will join to the user table.
Correct. You will create another alias and then you'll add the restriction on the system ID of the user.
Got it. Okay, cool. I just want to just check with you on that. That's all. That's the only clarification I had, Ira.
Okay, thanks, guys.
Thanks.
Okay, so the last one is the implementation update. I think we already have the oncology and lag update. So the only one left right now is the CDM update. So Lawrence and Ruth, do you want to share that with us for the CDM update?
Okay, Ada. I think I've just seen Lawrence posted something on the ticket. So maybe give us a brief on the requirements that you requested them to give us a list for the requirements.
Yeah, I just saw that as well. So Lawrence, do you want to share an update for us?
Yeah, I met Tor earlier today, and he gave me the spreadsheet I uploaded, which was as a result of the meeting that we had with Dr. Omboy on Friday, and one of the clinicians from CDM, the clinical officers. So he said, like, that's a refined one, and though he had mentioned that you required some sort of approval by the PI to say, like, that's a final. And I think he was trying to lay us to get command, or maybe even just do a comment on the ticket after looking at the spreadsheet. And then we also realized, and I know this still takes us back, but I mentioned to him the same. There is like one more, a slight change on one of the questions that would take care of the point of entry for these patients. Like initially we had PHCT. You realize we did not have an entry point to say, like for patients who come from the Mabaraza screenings. So there's a slight change on that, and I think Tor is to meet Petronilla just to give a way forward on the same.
Okay, so there will also be some changes on the form itself? Okay.
unfortunately, yes.
Yeah, so we'll wait for the update from you guys. So we'll continue to put the CDM forms on hold until you guys finalize the list for us.
Yes, I mentioned that, and I said I'll make sure I look for vanilla, and then we just have to wind up finish up on that this afternoon.
Okay, thanks. Also, want to give an update on the teleconsultation. Sam Mbugua has helped us to identify the issue why when through the notification it say it download X number of notification, but when we tap on that box, it does not give us the specific notification. So he has a few suggestions how to fix it, and then would like Win to chime in and see which was the best approach to move forward. So after Win provide the guidance, and then Sam can help us to fix that part. So that's the update on that. And for the fingerprints, I haven't had chance to test on the fingerprints yet on my side, as I was trying to set up on the Jira workflow and things like that on Friday. So those are the updates on fingerprints and teleconsultation. Anyone have any questions or comment? Okay. So Martin, I know that you were planning to also spend some time on testing the APK. I just wonder if you have some general feedback or anything that we need to know from your side, Martin.
So far, I haven't come up with so I mean, I know it's haven't come up with kind of showstopper issue. But I'm not sure.
Yeah, it seems like Martin has poor internet connection or something like that. Cannot really hear him well. Are you still there, Martin? Maybe we can follow up with you through email later. So I will follow up with Martin after the call through email. So just want to get it. I think those are the agenda items I have for today's call. But is there any items anyone want to discuss or to share or update?
And one more thing. Well, I was wondering how far we've gone with the Huawei related issues, because I was able to test and I ended up with the same problem.
Yeah. So we just got the device back from this side. We have one. So that's the only device we have. We just got it end of last week. So we haven't really spent time on trying to reproduce the error. And since we are spending this week on doing the user testing, acceptance and testing, we might not have time to fix on the Huawei tickets because those two tickets did not get into the current sprint. So it's likely that the earliest would be the next sprint if we can reproduce the error from our side. Because the problem is before we get the none of us could reproduce the error, so no one even know how to fix it.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was the delay for that. to accept the Qualcomm ticket. Any other questions or comments? So if not, I think we can have a short call today, and I will work on the new mUzima Jira accounts, things like that, and also try to create a bunch of tickets after the call. So, Robert, do you guys have things to comment?
On the new comment on?
No, anything. Yeah, anything.
Okay. Anyone? None from us either.
Okay, cool. Okay, cool. So, okay. So, thanks everyone. We'll communicate through an email and also tomorrow's Scrum. Thank you, guys.
Thank you too.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.